Alright, so I'm going to react to the news coming out about Isak and Liverpool withdrawing their bid, and I'm just going to keep it nice, simple and straight, and maybe explain how this deal could get done. So there's a lot of components in this. You've got Arne Slot, you've got Eddie Howe, you've got Alexander Isak, you've got Harvey Elliott, you've got Darwin Núñez, and these are the people that I'm going to concentrate on. And we will just go from there, right? So you may be seeing the news coming out that Liverpool have withdrawn from the Isak sort of transfer saga there. Now, I'm going to say as a Liverpool fan, I'm not panicked about this. We've just put Michael Edwards on the transfer business, and in my opinion, we wouldn't be bringing him on this morning if we're going to pull out by this afternoon. I think that it's a deliberate tactic there. We're saying that we don't need Isak. Now, we probably have enough to challenge for the league, possibly win the league without him. Obviously, our chances are increased if we get him, but what we're saying to Newcastle is you need this £120 million a lot more than we need Alexander Isak. We could afford 150, but we don't want to pay 150, and we're trying to make them sweat, and we're trying to see how Isak reacts to this news. Now, literally as I'm recording this video, things are breaking, so if I go on a little bit of a tangent, that's why. I've just seen that, people are expecting Isak to make a formal transfer request there. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. However, this is probably part of what I was just alluding to. Liverpool are trying to make Newcastle sweat, because at the end of the day, if you've got a striker in Isak, no matter how good he is, if he's not playing, you're not getting anything out of him. Whereas if you have that 120 million, you can go aggressive on Sesko because you've got more money than Man United undoubtedly, and you finished above them in the league last year, so surely you can make something happen. Now, going on to what I was saying earlier, how do some of these people tie in? Now, I'm going to go on to Arne Slot and Eddie Howe first. Obviously, these guys tie in, they're the managers, they're the ones that have to deal with the players. When I'm talking about Arne Slot here, I'm saying he obviously wants Alexander Isak. I mean, no manager in the world wouldn't want Alexander Isak. So he is someone that, he's brought in Ekitike, and clearly he's not satisfied, and love that. Eddie Howe, on the other hand, he's been very nervous in the media when he's talking about this. He's sort of going around the subject, he's not being direct with it, and honestly, I think that obviously he wants to keep Isak as much as possible, but I also think that maybe he doesn't want to stand in his way, because at the end of the day, if you've got an unhappy player who's influential within this team, he could negatively affect the team moving forwards, and for Eddie Howe, results are what matters. So if he's going to have this player who's not going to play and not going to give 100%, he'd probably rather move him on and bring someone in that he can, have play and have, give that 100% for the badge. Obviously, an ideal world for Eddie Howe is that he keeps Isak and he ends up being happy at Newcastle. But from what we're seeing, him training out in Sociedad and stuff like that, it's probably not going to happen. Now, there's so many twists and turns to this transfer saga. Obviously, we made an informal approach to them. We've now made this formal approach. They've rejected it, which they were always going to. It's nothing to overreact about. If they were to accept the first bid that we put in for Isak, they look desperate. And maybe they want to get Benjamin Sesko over the line, not just because they want a replacement before they sell Isak, but because if they suddenly get 120 million for Isak whilst these negotiations are going on, Red Bull are all of a sudden going to go, well, you've got this money that's just come in for your player, you can give that money to us. So how do Harvey Elliott and Darwin Núñez tie into this? Now, in my opinion, Harvey Elliott is a brilliant player, and I love him at this club, and I think that he's got a lot to offer this club. Now, that's me speaking from the heart. If I speak from the head when I'm talking about this, where does he fit? We've got midfielders ahead of him. He was a right winger at one point, but we've got Mohamed Salah. Where does he fit within this team? And Newcastle are crying out for players. They've been trying to sign people, and they've not been able to. Harvey Elliott, for me, a perfect move for him in his career would be to go to Newcastle. You get game time. You're still playing in a good squad. He's still playing Champions League football. He's not taking a massive step back in his career, and he gets to develop and play at a high level. For Newcastle, they get a player who's creative, who can create, who can score goals, who can create goals, who can dribble, who can do these things, and I think that could be a very positive thing for them, and I don't understand why they're not looking at that, because they may be able to get him on a discounted rate if you were to send Isak in the other direction. Now, going on to Darwin Núñez, he's a player that he on his day is incredible. I know that people are going to say, oh, on his day, but honestly, Newcastle fans know that better than anyone. Those 2 goals when we had a red card and we were down and he came on and changed that game, Darwin Núñez is a good striker. I don't care what anyone has to say. It's not worked out at Liverpool, but maybe a change of situation and maybe moving to a team like Newcastle who do play through the lines a little bit quicker, don't do the possession sort of domination that you know we've sort of moved on to, that might help him out a little bit. He can play in behind. He might be able to play out on the wide. You know what I mean? Play out on the wing, sorry. And if that's the case, he could thrive and revitalise his career. And then Newcastle fixed their problem of needing to bring in a striker because they brought in a Premier League proven striker in Darwin Núñez, who's not only Premier League proven, he is a Premier League winner. He has Champions League experience. And as much as people want to clown on him, since he's come in, he has the most goals and assists behind Mohamed Salah. So he is an effective player. He's just capable of missing a sitter. So that's how everybody else fits into this. Now, let's move on to the man of the moment, the guy that it's all for, the guy that it's all about. How does Alexander Isak fit into his own transfer saga, right? Now, he's decided that he's not training with the team. He's decided that he's not doing any rehabilitation, I say that in air quotes there, with his own team and their facilities, and in fact he'd rather do it with a previous club that did let him go. You know, maybe that's a hint of things to come. He's not playing with the team. He didn't play against Celtic due to speculation. As Eddie Howe said, he didn't say anything about an injury. He didn't travel with the team for their tour. Look, it's clear for everyone to see that Isak wants to leave. It's clear to everyone to see that he's pushing for a move. Whether that move's going to happen, who knows? But he's doing everything that he can in his power without putting in a formal transfer request to do so. Things could get messy if he decides to put in a formal transfer request. And is it outside of the realm of possibility? No. No, it's not, in my opinion. And to be honest, I can see it happening. I can see it happening at the beginning of the season if he's not already moved on. By that point, he is pushing hard for this move, and you know, Newcastle have offered him a new contract with a release clause next summer, and he's decided he doesn't want it. And to be honest, I can't blame him. A bigger club like Liverpool doesn't come knocking every single window. If Ekitike goes out this season and scores 30 goals or, you know, even 20 goals, if he goes out and scores 20 goals in all competitions, he's a young striker. We can work with this. And maybe Isak doesn't come. I think that we would always want an Isak. However, he then becomes surplus to requirements and he could be a hindrance to Ekitike's growth. So maybe we decide that we don't go for him. In Isak's head, he's probably feeling that pressure of he needs to leave, and he needs to leave now because he's coming off of 2 incredible seasons and the Premier League champions are knocking at his door telling him that they want him. I think it would be a good thing for his career. Obviously, it may not be a great thing for his team. It may not be a great thing for Newcastle, but hey, that's just my opinion on this whole thing. There's a lot of stuff coming out, a lot of speculation, and I may not make another video on this for now, but that is what I think, and I, as always, want to hear what you guys think, so please let me know down in the comments below. Enjoy your evenings, weekends, and whatever you're going to be doing next, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.